Hello, I'm Bruce Lorincz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose, which gives me liberty to talk to people in city government, the school system, and businesses in the local community, and also people, groups that help other people out. Today, Teresa Berry is with us, and she is involved with Marian's Closet. She is the executive director. And Teresa, how long have you been associated with Marian's Closet?
Well, I've been executive director since mid-July of last year. So
congratulations.
Yes, well, thank you. It sounds really important, and actually these type of things are important, but not for the title. So.
And before that, when did you get inkling to get involved in such a wonderful group?
Well, it was actually one of my girlfriends. There was a group of us having lunch, and she brought this opportunity to my attention, and I was at that point looking for something new to do. I'd been home educating my girls for the previous 18 years, and then prior to that I was a pediatrician, and I knew I had skill sets that I wanted to use, but I knew I wasn't going back to pediatrics, and I knew I wasn't obviously going to continue with the homeschooling since I graduated my younger daughter. So it was being able to apply problem solving skills and just my compassion and interest in our community and the needs that we have here.
How is Marian's Closet organized?
How's it organized? Well, Marian's Closet is a 501c3 organization, so we're a nonprofit. I'm under a board of directors. There's 8 of them, and they are fabulous. Just big shout out to them. That's how we move. They've done everything from revamping website to providing me with data queries to helping me with business contacts. It could go on and on and on. They're very involved, and so that's kind of that's what really helps me to move forward. And so that's what it looks like.
Has the store always been located on East Street? I know that I go by there, and it seems like certain days there's just a lot of. Maybe I'll give you another question. What days are you open?
Yeah.
And have you been on East for some time?
Yeah, actually this is our 3rd location. The first 2 were on Broad College, however you want to call it. And the most recent one prior to this is actually where Jazzercise is located now. We've been on East Street since 2011. So the prior 2 locations were 2007 and 2009, then 2011. We've been there, and we're right behind the Methodist Church, for those who are interested.
One little concern you have is the parking lot. I go by there, and it seems like people are wedged in there, and it's just a wee, as the Scots would say, wee little parking lot.
You have nailed it. It is tiny, and it's hard for people to get in. I am always so grateful for those who make the effort that are, for example, donating things to actually be able to pull into that lot, because it is tight. I don't have really any good answers. For those that are donating, definitely pull into the back. But for those that are coming to shop, you can also park along the street, and you can also park in the Methodist parking, their lower lot. They do that, and actually our volunteers park in that lower lot to give space.
What are the goals of Marian's Closet? Well,
our mission. So I have the mission right there.
Right.
So it's to improve the quality of life for those in need. And when you look at that sounds very broad, and it talks below, it talks about through generous donations. That's what that looks like. So what comes through the doors goes right back out the doors. And so if people are donating clothing or housewares or small appliances, those are the things that we have to offer to the people that are in need. Most of our stuff is gently used things. However, we do get new stuff from time to time. Back in December, I got an email from Walmart, and they made an incredible, maybe 6-7 pallet donation of clothing to us, primarily summer off-season items. And for those who are familiar with the building itself, it's also small. Everything's very throughput, and in that moment, I didn't know how we were going to accept it, but Melanie Raines from Fish was dropping by that day. We work in partnership, and we were talking, and I commented to her, and she said, "Bring it to us. We'll hold it for you till you're able to put it out." So most of the stuff, though, when you come to our store and you drop something off to give, within probably 15-20 minutes, it's out on the floor waiting for a customer. who has a need.
Well, that's a really quick turnaround. I'm
It
kind
is
of
crazy.
surprised.
It's crazy.
So
It's crazy.
because someone may just stop in and need something, and that may be what they came to look for.
Absolutely, and that happens all the time. And I think what's fascinating, people don't really know about that. So some of our customers will come in and they will go to the back door to drop off things that maybe didn't fit them or their spouse or whatever, and they'll be shopping in the store and they will comment, "Wow, I just dropped that off," and it'll be hung up ready to go for the next customer. So we're very throughput. We don't have places to store stuff. Things have to move in and out. And the amazing part is when we're watching stuff go out the door, we average around 800 items going out of the store in a 3-hour period, which I don't think anybody can really grasp. It's an incredible number. And within that, when I walk back through the store at the end of the day just to see that everything's all back in place, it's refilled. And it's like manna from heaven every day, and it's all because people are so generous in our community. It's crazy.
So you're telling me in any one day that you're open, 800 items could be, and some people could get multiple things possibly.
Yeah, they can get multiple.
800 items leave the store.
Leave that store.
Wow.
And it's kind of, I can't explain it. I mean, when you're looking at how many households, we were at 988 households were served last year by Marian's Closet. Over the years, we've had, we just here in the last 2 weeks crossed 7,500 different family units that have received support from us.
You couldn't do it without your volunteers. If you say an item is dropped off and it's right on the shelf, ready to be bought and taken, that's just amazing, and you couldn't do it without those volunteers.
It is volunteer run. They are phenomenal. I could just go off the deep end explaining what they do for us. They are incredible. They're very good at what they do. They're good at looking through items, organizing them, making sure they're hung up in the correct area by size. They are good at examining them to making sure that they are in good shape, that there aren't any rips or it's not damaged in any way, or that they're clean. I can't say enough about them and what they do, and each one of them uses their gifts, and it's just been fascinating to watch them step into different things that they can do. I had one of the volunteers take some of the guys that were volunteering. They went downstairs this past week and totally organized our basement.
I think there we have a picture on the monitor, and that is, looks like very cramped conditions.
It's cramped. So this is our back room. When you when you drop that door right in front of you, that's where you drop off your donation. There are bins to the right where you can put your donation when you come there. We have forms if you need to have receipts for tax purposes. But yeah, and then you can see the volunteers working. We have our youngest volunteer is 18, and our oldest volunteer is 85.
Wow.
Well, actually, maybe.
Quite a range
more.
there.
Yeah, we do. We have people that are retired. We have, like I said, we have people that are still working that come in on Saturdays, for example, to help us. So that's part of our Saturday crew there. We have a great time together. It's kind of like family.
I'm sure the volunteers can help point people in the right direction if they're looking for particular sizes for siblings and their family. They probably could help them, and very conversational and helping the people to make them feel at home.
Yeah, they do. They're great at that. The other thing they look at is, just trying to be in the moment with the people that are coming through. People are struggling with different concerns, and we even have an area where they can give us prayer requests. We don't have the one thing I wish is that we had an area where we could actually pull somebody aside and be able to spend some time with them and kind of walk through different ways that we can help them, or other service organizations that could be of use to them.
I think that's important. I think you can also help them with the Salvation Army, or with if the hospital has a program or something else going on, because some of the families would need multiple organizations to assist them.
It is, and that's very true. And so we're always considering what other organizations are in the area, whether it's fish or whether it's through United Way. There's other ones that we're looking at. Garage, we partner with a lot, and I'm talking frequently with the other directors about ways that we can better partner.
What is that weekly schedule then if people are looking to maybe browse or need something for the family, especially those, and it's a question we're going to ask later, especially when school starts, or here in Ohio, we have 4 distinct seasons. And of course, that last week was in the 70s and 80s, and now it's in the 40s. So you never know about spring in Ohio, but that would change, that would necessitate a different wardrobe, wouldn't it?
Right, it does. It makes things real exciting because we are throughput. So we're just, everything's based on what's given during that time frame. One thing that we've been able to change here recently is that partnership with Fish. So right now, if somebody drops off a winter coat that we're looking at going, boy, that's a really nice winter coat, we don't want to lose this, we can now take it over to Fish and they will keep it for us, so that when the temperature changes rapidly in the fall, we'll be able to grab it, bring it back on site, and have it available immediately versus waiting for the winter coats to start trickling in. So there's, but you're right, it is when school starts, people, they're coming in, but they're coming in a lot because if you have children, they're rapidly growing. So what's interesting, many of the people, they're dropping off their kids' clothes when they're done and getting new ones as they need it. So.
What specific days is Marian Closet open for the community?
Yeah, it is open to the community. We're open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, we're open 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And Thursdays, we're open 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So we have one day where it's a little bit later in the day, and then we have a Saturday hour to help.
When we spoke at the expo for the Suprema Senior Center, you at that time were thinking of expanding to Wednesday. Obviously, you've done that. That must make you happy that you're in business 4 days.
Yes, exactly. I think I have such an incredible volunteer workforce. I mean, we could expand more, but it's tricky. It's getting trickier to make that happen. Actually, Tuesdays is the day that I have a cleaning crew too. They come in on Tuesdays and they clean the facility, wipe it down, vacuum everything, dust, and they make everything ready. And Tuesday's my day to catch up when we've had incredible things happening in the store and we need to make changes or whatever. The Tuesday crew, they do a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
And I'm sure that is welcomed by the people coming in. The ambiance is there. It's it's clean. It's a safe place, and people can go ahead and take a look at all the items you have.
Right.
How about COVID-19? I'm sorry we have to bring this up, but it certainly probably created some extra concerns and need in the community. Talk about that for a moment, and how did it impact Marian's Closet?
Yeah, I came in really at the tail end of where COVID-19 people were starting to be able to breathe more. They weren't so they weren't as concerned as they had been, and I think that also is what probably ramped my volunteer force up, because when I came in, we were running around 24 volunteers. We are now up to 42, and I think a lot of that, I can't attribute that to me. It's a God thing. It's an incredible thing that's happened. But I think the bigger COVID-19, I feel like it certainly slowed down even the traffic within the store too. And we're seeing now that rebounding, and like when I look back from a year ago, I looked back at the numbers. We were averaging 4 new families a week. We're now averaging 10 new families units a week. And that's an incredible difference in my mind. It could be, I think that could have been somewhat the COVID-19 concerns, or it could be now inflation, and people are just trying to figure ways to stretch their budget and be able to have what they need.
Yeah, that was my next question. Good segue. Basically, people were really reluctant to go out of their apartment or house and shop, and restaurants were really taboo. Yeah. But now, inflation has really reared its ugly head, and what would have cost mere few dollars now is considerably more. Right. That really hurts a family, doesn't it?
It does, and I'm just glad that we are there to be able to meet those needs. So maybe the next question would probably be, what all do we have in our store? When we talked about the clothing, We have donations that we get small appliances, we get household items, things like blankets and sheets and pillowcases. Those are all things that and towels. Those are all kind of luxuries sometimes, you know what I mean? And so those are important things for us to receive and be able to send back out. We also have diapers there and wipes, and we have feminine products, tampons and pads. We have detergent and we also have toilet paper from time to time. You know, a lot of it's driven by, you know, what's being donated, and sometimes we even have to kind of supplement it a little bit. But we're just trying to supplement. We can't necessarily meet everybody's needs.
What about if people are watching the show or word of mouth gets out there? You mentioned some of the items that people can go ahead and acquire there. Can people with spring cleaning right around the corner? Are any donations welcome, and how does that work?
Yeah, as far as, are you referring to like cleaning supplies? Are you talking about cleaning any of those
people
things?
Having kids that have outgrown their
yes, exactly.
their
all of
blouses
that. Exactly. So as far as we talked about store hours, those are the same hours we take donations.
Okay.
We don't have a separate time.
Right.
And all of those things are, you know, you have those gently used clothing, shoes, any of those things we are so happy to take. And the nice part is you can know that it'll be going out in the community, and that you know, it's immediately available for people that have need.
I thought it was really interesting when you said that some people that get things there come back, they've used them for a little while, because the youth, they seem like a year, and their shoes are tight, and their sweaters are bulging, and they might bring those items back for someone else.
They absolutely do, and that's what's exciting. It's just I just kind of laugh sometimes. I feel like we're clothing the world. You know what I mean? It just keeps going right around, and it's really cool.
What about the role of churches? We have wonderful churches in our community. Do they play a role in Marian's Closet?
They play an incredible role. Many of them do drives for us. So we have a couple churches that do diaper drives, and they bring in diapers and wipes, and that is what fuels our diaper and wipe collection, is their work. We have churches right now that are doing personal product drives, where they bring in things like soap, and it could be shampoos, deodorants, toothbrushes, toothpastes. So we just, in fact, this morning, First Christian dropped off stuff from a drive that they just did. And I know other churches right now, like the chapel in Wadsworth, is looking to do a drive. And so we have that kind of stuff. We get financial support from churches, which is very welcome. We also, Easter baskets. The Methodist Church has a garden. They bring in stuff from the garden in the summer. It's all sack lunches. We have that on the last Saturday of the month. So we have, and these are all fueled by churches. And that's a whole nother layer.
It's really nice to see that support. I mean, it's really the generous donations, as you've indicated before, from people, the churches, and certainly stores. You mentioned Walmart donated something. So many pallets you couldn't even house them. But
I can't.
But it seems like that collaboration is really important for you with Fish and other organizations as well. And it's nice to see groups working together.
Right. And that has been a goal. And I know Melanie Raines, director at Fish, she's worked really hard on trying to see more collaboration in our community. And it's just been great to work along beside her. She has a wealth of information.
Now, what about people coming in? Do they have to live in Wadsworth proper, or could they come from the Rittman area or Seville or Doylestown? What is this stipulation there?
Essentially, if you can drive to our store, you can use our store. So if you have some way to get there, most people come from the three-county area of Medina, Summit, and Wayne. We do have people that come in further. I think most of those people are kind of one-offs, where they might be visiting family in the area and they come in. Last year we provided clothing and items to people in a total of 18 counties, which is kind of beyond me. But like I said, many of those are just one-offs. So we have people that have maybe come in from the Youngstown area that maybe were visiting family, or Cleveland, or even Northwest Ohio. So
That's kind of like the Suprema Senior Center. You don't have to live
Yes.
in the city itself, but you can
Right.
come in from the township. And we have people with Wadsworth mailing address that are
Right.
from the township, but we
Yep.
have people from the Barberton area, Doylestown, Rittman, and Seville taking advantage of this. And again, what do people say when they have come in and gotten a few items for the family? What is their reaction?
Oh, gratitude. Stories, you can tell stories and stories. There was a family that came in this fall, and it was a woman. It was a domestic violence type situation, and she had just pretty much just left, and she didn't have anything for her family. And to be able to provide stuff for her, it was kind of, you just feel blessed to be part of it, and I know that I'm not the one doing it. It's because everybody in the community has donated the way they have. And I was talking to her, praying over her, and just tears of gratitude. And she's like, I never knew such a place could exist. I never imagined that I would need such a place. But we were able to give them diapers and wipes and clothe her children. And she was just overwhelmed. And that gratitude spills over. We've had people, I had a woman come in here not too long ago that she had received an inheritance from her mother. And she's like, I just want to give money to this store. And she just handed me cash. She said, use it for people that can't afford to, pay we have a yearly fee. She says, and we have a lot of people, they pay it forward, or they'll be standing in line and they'll, ask them if they could pay their yearly fee, and they'll let me pay for them. So people are filled with gratitude that they can participate and they can help others, and makes it happen.
That probably makes you and the volunteers feel very good when someone out of the clear blue sky donates money, brings in items to go ahead, and then if people bring items in, they feel good. They may come back again and again
Right.
and again to donate. Do you
Yes.
see that happening?
Yeah, we do. We see a lot of people, and I think, and that's the deal. When I've lived in Wadsworth now for over 30 years, and Marian's Closet's an institution. It was 15 years last year since the beginning of Marian's Closet, and it was just really neat knowing there was a place, a free store in our town that was providing clothing and needed supplies to people. And it's the incredible part. I was talking to United Way once, one of their representatives, and I'm like, is there something like this in Summit County? And he's like, no. And I looked on the web, and I found something in Burton, Ohio, that, is a free store similar to what we do, but I'm like, it's a very unique thing that happens here. And it's just, I'm excited to be part of this community and what we're doing to help others around us.
And I'm sure the volunteers take pride in comments from people coming in, getting things, and they probably say, well, I'm doing something very meaningful, and I'm getting a lot more back than I ever have helped out other people. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. That's exactly. They are much fed by what happens. Many of the volunteers come in multiple days a week. They don't, just because they enjoy what they're able to do, and they enjoy the interactions that they have with the customers. They enjoy knowing that what they're doing is making a difference.
How about social media? How can we get the word out? I know hopefully people are watching our show today, and maybe we can get some more donations and more people stepping up and giving money to the organization. What about, do you use social media, and how is that going?
Yeah, I do. I do some work on Facebook. I'm not doing other accounts like Instagram, et cetera. We also have our website where people can contact us. And that's an excellent way to reach me because I pay attention to the emails coming through. But social media, for people that are looking for ways to see, like if it's a snowy day and you're like, well, are they closed? I post it on social media. You can know there. If we have unusual hours based on holidays, I'll post it on there. When we have that extra good stuff that's happening in our community where, we just received a donation from a church, whether, maybe, Crossroads came in and they donated diapers. United Methodist Church is always giving us things. So, I try to put stuff up there just so the community can see what's going on, and they can see the goodness that's happening around them. So that's where you'll see it, that kind of stuff. And
glad you mentioned about the diapers. My daughter, my youngest, is a minister in Connecticut, and her church had a drive to go ahead and get diapers for an organization they help, and overwhelming response.
Yes.
And people, again, stepped up to the plate and did a great job. And again, that makes them feel good, and the church organization to feel good. And what's a parting comment you can take? Maybe talk to the community about some donations that you still could use more with the changing spring coming up.
Yeah, we can use all your spring donations. This is all the spring clothing, summer clothing. Maybe you'll look and say, hey, I got bathing suits and stuff that we can no longer use. Maybe you'll look at sandals. Just any type of shoes for the summer. Let me think. Then personal products, we have the churches do drives, but those are always wonderful things to receive. Monetary type things, it helps. It's kind of like, while there's not a lot of, how do I want to say, expenses that we do still have things like our rent, we have to pay utilities, we have to, and sometimes we're even buying things that we need, for example, like toilet paper, et cetera. Sometimes that isn't something we can store a lot of. So that is the, stuff like that, people are so appreciative when we have that to give out. The other thing is we've got a golf outing coming up, and I really want to put that out to the community. It'll be on August 4th. It's a Friday. We're going to be...
I think there's a little information on it. Yes.
If you look at the register, if you're interested in registering, you can look that up. It's marianscloset.org, and then you see the /2023-golf-scramble, another slash. So I'm looking forward to that, and just seeing the community step into that and help us out there. That's our biggest fundraiser of the year. And otherwise, we do not receive government support or anything like that. It's purely through your donations.
Teresa Berry, I learned a great deal today, and I really cross my fingers for best of luck with all your activities and your endeavors to help our community. And thanks for viewing Bruce on the Loose. Next show will be about the history of the Cleveland Indians. Can't wait for that. Thanks for viewing.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.